Hi everyone, Matthew here at AAWeatherWatch with the latest forecast video brief, taking a look at the weather through the course of the coming weekend and clearly updating you all on the latest developments with regards to the remnants of Hurricane Ophelia, which really will bring some particularly inclement conditions as things stand early next week still. However, back to the short term and taking a look at latest satellite imagery, we do have a band of cloud moving across the country at the moment in time. That is bringing some patchy rain and drizzle, particularly across parts of the north and west, and essentially through the rest of Friday. This rather cloudy and damp weather in association with this region of cloud will move slowly south and east, but generally becoming quite slow moving. Somewhat drier and brighter conditions may develop across the extreme north and northwest, but otherwise out there it will be a predominantly cloudy day, and again with some patchy rain and drizzle at times too. A further weather system is located here to the southwest that will bring some wet weather to parts of the north and west over the course of the weekend in particular. Importantly as well, with winds coming in from the southwest way to the southwest of the country, it will be a very mild, if not actually quite a warm weekend for the middle of October. Now if I just pan a little bit further to the south and southwest of Ireland, latest developments on Hurricane Ophelia. You can see that feature here in evidence still to the southwest of the country. This is Ireland, obviously crossing to Wales, England, France and down into Iberia. The hurricane is indeed still a Category 2 hurricane, really quite a compact hurricane, and it is particularly strong for this region of the Atlantic. And again, it is this feature which will continue to develop and track to the west and northwest. You can see the eye of the hurricane there recently on satellite imagery too. Now this feature will again progress still towards the northeast over the course of the weekend, then undergoing what is known as extratropical transition when it loses its hurricane characteristics as it moves over cooler ocean temperatures, but then continue to track towards the north, towards Ireland, into the beginning of next week to essentially track and be centred roughly within this position here as we move through to Monday of next week, leading to, in particular, potentially some very, very strong winds indeed. So let's take a look at the forecast weather charts now to put the details onto the forecast. And there's the damp weather through the remainder of Friday and into Friday evening. As you can see on the satellite forecast image, the latest satellite forecast does show cloud potentially breaking again across some parts of the north and west of the country, but particularly across central, southern and eastern areas remaining predominantly cloudy, if not overcast, with some further light rain and drizzle at times. Now this evening and overnight it will be a particularly mild night, if not actually quite warm in towns and cities. Some further patchy light rain and drizzle is possible across parts of the south and east. So we move into the weekend with a zone of rather cloudy and damp weather across some central and southern areas of the country in particular. However, as Saturday progresses, it is forecast to be an improving scenario for much of the country, but especially across parts of the south and east. Through the course of Saturday afternoon and into Saturday evening, the cloud will begin to break, and as a result, some brighter sunny spells potentially developing through the afternoon and again into the early evening, particularly across some central, southern and eastern areas of the country. The extreme north and west of the country, particularly if I just highlight the area of interest, particularly this area, so parts of far western areas of Ulster and down into parts of Connaught, for example, potentially seeing rather cloudy and damp conditions persist, with some rain and drizzle possible here. But the further south and east you are, then generally drier, perhaps even brighter as well, and it really will be a very mild, if not actually quite a warm day for the middle of October, given south or southwesterly winds. Now, through into Saturday evening and overnight, and wet weather will return or become at least more persistent and quite widespread across parts of the north and west. So we move through into Sunday morning, and the further north and west you are, it's a cloudy, wet and windy start. Further south and east, predominantly cloudy, but at least it will be mainly dry. However, through the course of Sunday, and those predominantly unsettled conditions with outbreaks of rain and showers are forecast to try and move south and east through the day. Some uncertainty over how far south and east this wet weather will get, but overall Sunday is likely to be the poorer day of the weekend, with many areas predominantly cloudy and with an increasing risk of some rain and showers moving south and east. Now, focusing attention on the end of the weekend and into the start of the next week, you can see as we progress towards the end of Sunday afternoon and into the evening, you can just see signs of the remnants of Hurricane Ophelia now beginning to arrive from the southwest. The latest forecast charts still provide some uncertainty over the exact track, but this system really will become a significant feature across Ireland through into the early part of next week. So by the time we get to around about the middle of the afternoon on Monday, a vigorous area of low pressure, as represented by the extremely close proximity of the black lines, the isobars, meaning some very, very windy weather indeed, wrapped around this area of low pressure, which again at the moment is forecast to track just to the west of the country. So by the time we get to the middle and latter half of Monday, severe gales, perhaps even storm force winds, certainly possible across particularly southern and central and western areas of the country at the moment. The further north and east you are, the windy weather, very windy weather of course, may well arrive here later on. As was signalled in the video brief yesterday, while some heavy rain is possible in association with this system, it is likely to be the strength of the winds which may well be the most disruptive feature of the weather through Monday and into Tuesday. So clearly all eyes on the beginning of next week, with certainly a risk of travel disruption, perhaps some structural damage too, especially across some central, southern and western areas, as the remnants of Hurricane Ophelia obviously move northwards. Just taking a quick look at the temperatures into the coming weekend, just to highlight the warmth which is expected again in association with southwesterly winds, and through into Saturday, maximum temperatures quite widely 14 to 18 degrees Celsius, and in some brighter weather through the afternoon that really will feel quite warm again for the middle of October. Some particularly mild nights on the way, Saturday night through into Sunday, minimum temperatures perhaps no lower than 13 or 14 degrees Celsius, and through into Sunday, particularly across more southern and eastern areas of the country, temperatures again perhaps up to 17 or 18 degrees Celsius, and again much of the country will experience above average temperatures this weekend. So let's summarise then our weekend weather summary. Saturday the 14th, quite a cloudy and damp start, but conditions improving across much of the country, with many areas becoming mainly dry for a time, perhaps with some brighter weather too, especially in the south and east, but the extreme north and west of the country perhaps holding on to rather cloudy and wet conditions. Again, very mild, if not warm. And then through into Sunday, at the moment, Sunday the most unsettled day of the weekend, outbreaks of rain and showers across parts of the north and west, becoming increasingly more widespread across central, southern and eastern areas later on in the day. But even here, across some southern and eastern areas, there will still be some drier weather at times, and again, very mild, if not quite warm still for the time of year. So that's all the latest details on the coming weekend and the early part of next week. So thanks very much for tuning in, and as ever, I'll be back with you soon.